Today, I would like to talk a little bit about diminished chords. Really interesting chords. So, most of you will know this formation. And if you don't, here, 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 and here. And as usual, I'm not going to belabor these. That's a diminished chord. The interesting thing about diminished chords is that each note is equidistant from every other note. So here we can make a diminished chord by doing this and going up a minor third, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And if you take all those notes and you put them together, you have a diminished chord. And since every note is equidistant from every other note, there's really only 3 diminished chords, because you can go here, 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 and the next one is the same as the first one. And likewise, that's the same as this one and this one. And then after you get to this one, that one is the same as this one. So there's really only 3 diminished chords: here, here, and here, or here, here, and here. So very nice. And they make a nice transition chord, because if you're going from a 1 chord in the progression to a 4 chord in the progression, you can go from here to a diminished chord to the 4 chord, and then to the 5 chord. And it's kind of nice. You can also go farther. You can also go downward. Doesn't sound so good like that, but we have a little trick we can use. So if we take this diminished chord here, and instead of playing this note here up high, we put it down here in the bass, and we take these 2 notes here and we bar. We still keep this note here, and we put this in the bass. That's really nice. So if I were playing a little progression, I could go. And that has a kind of a nice sound to it. And likewise, we can go. And that diminished chord gives us a transition downward as well. All right, so what's really interesting about diminished chords is that they're kind of like another chord. So let's take, for example, this chord. That's a common D7th on 4 strings, just like your C7th over here, except we're not playing 1 and 6. So we're playing it inside here, and we're muting these notes here. All right, so let's take this chord here, and we'll make it into a 9th chord. Here's the 9th. And if we take that and we flat the 9th, this note goes here, and we do the same bar, lo and behold, on the guitar at least, not on the piano necessarily, because there might be more chords involved, this is called a flatted 9th chord. And on the guitar, it's played exactly like a diminished chord. Okay, so we can use that. Now there's another interesting little thing, and that is, let's take our common A7th chord. We know this A7th chord. And interestingly, here's the 9th of that chord. We can take the 9th and drop it down here. And what do you know? We have an A flatted 9th, A7th flatted 9th. So this is a D7th flatted 9th, this is an A7th flatted 9th. really haven't moved. So this is quite a versatile chord. Now let's take a look at how we might use this in a progression. You may have heard of the song Dark Eyes. And so on. So the chord progression there is do 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 A seventh, do 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 D minor, do 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 A seventh, do 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 D minor, do 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 G minor, do 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 D minor, do 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 do, or we can, here's E seventh, do 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 do. All right, so let's take that song and let's leave those first few chords alone, but when we get to the D seventh, let's put our dropped ninth in there. Let's put our dropped ninth in there. And when we get to the A seventh, we can put our dropped ninth in there. So here's how it sounds if we do that instead of, it'll sound like this. Do 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 do. So instead of going here to here, we went here to here. And it sounds kind of nice. Let's try that again. Do 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 do. Interesting, yes? And we have the same type of thing if we do a song called Bésame Mucho. You may know this, it's an old Beguine rhythm. Again. Sounds nice. Especially if you're using chords a little more complex than the basic chords. So instead of this G minor here, I would use the G minor sixth. That's another interesting chord that has a lot of uses. That G minor sixth. Here's a D minor sixth. Do 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 do. Okay, so that's kind of nice. You may have heard of a thing called the circle of fifths. The circle of fifths is, well, let's start over here. Let's start over here on the B7th. If we go the fifth of B7th, we have an F sharp seventh. Let's go the other direction. Let's go in the fourths. So here's a B7th, and the fourth of that is an E7th, and the fourth of that is an A7th. Fourth of that is a D7th. Fourth of that is a G7th. C, F. Now here's an F. Okay, same F, seventh. And the fourth of that is a B flat seventh. The fourth of that is an E flat seventh, A flat seventh, D flat seventh, F sharp seventh, and Here's your F sharp 7th, and back to B 7th. So we've made a whole circle. We've come back, and we've used every note as the root. And that can be interesting, and I'm going to show you how right now. For simplicity, I'm going to show you a song. It's an old Bob Wills tune, swing tune, called Time Changes Everything. And it'll demonstrate how we might be able to use the circle of fifths in an interesting way using our flatted ninths. So I'm doing it in G because it'll be easier to illustrate, although it's a little bit hard for me to get to those notes. So hope you'll pardon me. There was a time when I thought of no other, and we sang our own love's refrain. Our hearts beat as one, and we had our fun. But time changes everything. Okay, so I'm going to do a little variation on that, and I'm going to use some swing chords. So we won't go into that right now. There was a time when I thought of no other, and we sang our own love refrain, and our hearts beat as one, as we had our fun. But time changes everything. Now what did we do? We went, this is a C minor 6th. So same thing as over here or over here, C minor, but we're doing it over here, C minor 6th, and then we're doing a walk down. We've used this, which is the same as B flat 7th, flat 9th, but we're using this form. Remember that? And then we're going down the 4th rather, and we're doing an E 7th, but we're using this form. Then we're going here, here, A 7th, drop 9th, D 7th, the 4th of A, and we're dropping the 9th, and then we're going back to the G. So we've gone here, now we've gone here, 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 here. So that part of the song goes, and our hearts beat as one, as we had our fun. So you can play with that. This C minor 6 is an interesting chord. It actually works very hard. It's a C minor 6th. It's also it's an F 9th. So it does double duty there. But it's also a chord called A minor 7th flat 5th. Same as this. So if you're doing any jazz, you'll run into the form that says minor 7th flat 5th. But you can substitute a 9th chord for it. You can substitute a minor 6th for it, and it'll all be the same. But anyway, that's the story of diminished chords. So have a good time with that.